What's up everyone, Emerald here from Emerald's Daily Carry, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Proactive backpack from Maverick Co. This bag currently retails for $269, but at the time of this recording, it's on sale for $229. It comes in one color option, the black that you see here, and is available on Maverick Co.'s website. Maverick Co. sent this bag out to me for review back in March of this year. No money exchanged hands, all opinions are my own, and they did not get a chance to see this video before it was published. What specifically appealed to me about this bag was that the Proactive has a few features that we don't normally see in this style of EDC bag, like a detachable shoe pouch and the ability to carry 2 laptops. We'll get into how well these features were implemented in our testing section, but for now, let's go over the listed specs. This bag is listed at 0.98 kilograms or just slightly over 2 pounds. It has a listed capacity of 22.5 liters and external dimensions of 17.7 inches, 11.6 inches, and 6.7 inches deep. Now let's put those specs to the test. And our scale is reading 2.3 pounds, which is great. Means that the weight measurement is pretty accurate. And for our dimensions for the height of the bag, we are getting about that 17.7 or 18 inches in height. Same here with our width measurement, we're getting about 12 inches. For the depth measurement, we measured it from the bottom of the bag since this is the widest part of the bag. And we're actually getting closer to around 8 inches in depth. And over here on this side is the 6.7-ish area that you're gonna find in the listed specs. And finally, let's measure out the actual volume of the bag using our beans. So that's about 17 liters in the main compartment volume. Let's see what can fit in the tech compartment. We were able to squeeze 2 liters into the tech compartment and it's pretty tight. Right now we're at 19 liters of total capacity. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna get 3 liters more in the front compartment and these 2 water bottle pockets. Let me just double check. My hand still fits inside of here, which means that maybe we could fit like half a liter of beans in there. And my hand also fits in these 2 pockets. So let me see what I can fit inside of this front compartment. So after some doing, we were able to fit maybe half a liter of stuff inside of the quick access compartment. Everything kind of shifted down and then I was able to fit another liter of beans inside of the main compartment. So our main compartment volume is roughly around 18 liters. We have 2 more liters in the electronics compartment and then half a liter here in the quick access, which gives us about 20.5 liters of actual usable space. These water bottle pockets are very stretchy. It's very difficult to measure external pockets like these, so let's just call both of these half a liter each. But as you can see, even with the 20.5 liters that we have working with us, it is a massive bag and it's kind of starting to deform a little bit. So I would say that this is overfilled. I don't know if you can take a look at that, but I don't think that this bag was actually designed to carry this much weight in it. It's a pretty beefy boy if I had to say so for myself. So I'm gonna take all the beans out of this bag. It's gonna take me some time, but here's a look at what the bag looks like on me. For reference, I'm 5'7", 135 pounds, and have a 17.5-inch torso length. As you're about to see, there are a lot of features that make me think that this bag is a good contender for an office gym hybrid. If you need a bag for the office that doesn't look like a sport duffel, but can also carry an extra pair of shoes and maybe more bottles than you care to admit, this might have the right features and aesthetics to appeal to you. The entire bag is made out of 100% recycled polyester, including the exterior fabric, trim, and interior lining. The exterior fabric is pretty thick, which accounts for the 2 pounds in weight. This gives the bag a drapiness, but also a very substantial feel. As for the weight to volume ratio, at 51.4 grams per liter, it's in the typical range, but it's not exceptional if your main concern is bag weight. We have unbranded waterproof zippers and pleather accents on the zipper pulls, top handle, and interior tag of the bag. The hardware for the strap adjustment is metal, and the strap keepers are plastic. The stretch mesh used in the water bottle pockets and some interior components feels like a neoprene. It's really stretchy and soft. However, the basic mesh used in the other interior pockets is a bit different. It has no stretch and it could get cut with sharper objects. with all of that out of the way, I think it's time to start loading this bag up for our office girly day out. All right, so there is a ton of stuff here on the table, and normally I try to make it all nice, but I just have too many things. I don't know what's gonna fit inside of this bag. Let's start off with the tech compartment. This is one of the main selling features of the bag, at least on the website. It says that it's supposed to be able to fit 2 MacBook Pros, so let's test that out. I know for some of you, this might be a really huge feature, like you have to bring a personal laptop and a work laptop. So my work laptop is a 16-inch MacBook Pro with a case on it. It fits inside of the laptop compartment, but it is a very snug fit. On the website, it says that you can fit another laptop here in the open section. Now, I don't own another 16-inch MacBook Pro, but I do have an external monitor, and it is basically the same thickness and overall dimensions of a 16-inch because it's also a 16-inch monitor. All right, so does it fit? I mean, I had to shove it in very literally, but the other thing about this is that it's not gonna close. So I don't know if you can see that, but this is actually the monitor case and it's protruding into the sides of the bag. So I actually don't think that it can go around this corner. I also don't feel really comfortable putting that much pressure on, say, a laptop just to get it inside of this compartment. It's already pretty tight with this 16-inch MacBook Pro. So let's say you want to bring a tablet. Does the tablet fit inside of the laptop compartment? Yes, it does. So I really don't think that you can fit 2 MacBook Pros inside of here unless you have a smaller, 14-inch or 15-inch laptop. A 16-inch laptop is not going to fit inside of this main exterior laptop compartment. It's just a matter of that there isn't enough depth inside of the actual tech compartment to accommodate such a large laptop. Because when I try to put my 16-inch laptop inside of this cavity, it does fit and close. So mainly it's just a depth measurement thing. Opening up the main compartment. One of the other main selling features of this bag is the fact that you can put shoes inside of here. Now, it has a separate shoe pouch that it comes with, but here are my running shoes and they fit with room to spare. I wear a size 9.5 women's for comparison's sake. And then what I assume you do is you just roll it up and then you clip it kind of like a dry bag. So it is going to not have all of the odors or the sweat or wetness or whatever, like not leak out of this bag as long as you twist this properly. But let's just see, I put that inside of the main compartment. The other thing that is like shoe oriented about this bag is that there is actually a bottom zipper, so you can access your shoes from the bottom as well. But let's just pack this out as if I'm gonna go into the office and into the gym. So I have an extra pair of clothes with me. Maybe I put that on the top of my shoes, I guess. And I have my shaker bottle. I'll put that on the exterior. I have a hydration water bottle. And then I have a thermos, just in case you wanna like really go after it. So one of the problems that I'm facing is that these 2 walls kind of share space with each other. It was advertised that you can use these neoprene pockets on the inside also as water bottle containers, but I would say it probably doesn't really make much sense for you to do what I'm doing right now, which is like having bottles on both the interior and the exterior. It's probably a one or the other type of situation, just with the amount of effort that it's gonna take for you to do this. Also, it's just like, it's protruding so much into the internal compartments, but let's just leave it for now. Just in case you're a 3-bottle homie, I wanna be sure that you're covered here. So we have our shoes, we have our extra pair of socks, shirt, and underwear and pants. This has 2 pockets on the inside flap door. We have a larger compartment here and then a smaller one on the top. So normally I like to put my over-ear headphones inside of this compartment. These are the WH-XM6s. So these actually fold down to be a little bit smaller. Cool. And then we have a little bit room to spare there, but I just like to keep them separated. And then all of my little doodads and dongles go in here. I'm a pouch girly. I normally like to, use pouches, so I just take the pouch out, get what I need, and then, have the pouch as like a desk caddy. But as far as like this bag is concerned, it wants you to use its own internal pocketing. Let's see how much we can fit inside of this. So I have a Thunderbolt cable, a USB-C to USB-C cable, and then a longer C to C cable for charging my laptop. So that all fits in there. And then I have an SSD, and then the SSD cable for that. So what I'm assuming is gonna happen is like I go to my work or coffee shop and I just basically get everything that's inside of this pocket. I have a GAN charger. All right, and that's pretty much gonna do it for that, and it's getting kind of heavy over here. We also have this back lay flat pocket, and we also have this key leash thing on the back part of the main compartment. I'm not entirely sure what you would put inside of here, to be honest, other than maybe something extremely flat. Let's see if I can fit a notebook in there. Doesn't fit in terms of the length and size of it. So maybe I fit my mints in there. I don't know why I would want to put them back there, but there we go. Let's see. Okay, so those fit. Perfect. In this other side pocket, maybe I could put my extension cord and my mouse. I guess I'll put my keyboard up here at the top with my notepad. At the bottom of that, underneath my shoes. I don't even know if this is honestly gonna close. So here I have my laptop stand. Okay, and let's just see how it goes. Whip it and rip it. Okay, wow. So it definitely closed, which is great. Let's see what we can fit inside of this quick access compartment. I have my key leash here. I got my keys. And it's pretty tight in there, so I don't think I can honestly fit anything else. And then I have another quick access pocket here at the top for some flatter items, maybe my wallet. So I would say that this is pretty packed out. There were a couple of things that I haven't been able to fit inside of this bag, mainly my EDC stuff. I think it probably has to do with the fact that I have another water bottle in the main compartment. So let me just see what it will look like if I don't have 3 bottles that I'm carrying with me. So the other thing about this bag that's kind of interesting is that it has a lot of length, but it doesn't really actually have a lot of depth, especially over here in the top, which is kind of funny because you have this really big, front compartment here. This compartment doesn't actually, they don't kind of hold the same space, but when they're stacked on top of each other like this, it does account for a lot of volume. So there aren't a whole lot of spaces to put all these like smaller EDC kind of things, unless you're going to just slam all of them inside of this compartment, which I mean I can do, but then you're going to be fishing for it when you're in transit, which isn't really ideal. My shoes are also kind of taking up a lot of space, but I would say that the fact that this bag comes with a shoe pouch probably means that I should probably use the shoe pouch, because it's a specific use case that the bag makers accounted for. And, let's say I guess I don't have my laptop stand. I do need my extra pair of clothes, and I'm assuming most people bring a notebook to work. And then I have like a really collapsible, keyboard. So I am still pretty minimal in terms of what I'm bringing for my tech, but I am struggling a little bit to fit all of this inside. Let me see if I can rearrange some things. Okay, so maybe that's slightly better. So now I have my external battery, my keys, my sunglasses, my AirPods, and a pen, all kind of shoved into this quick access compartment because there's just nowhere else to put them. So I guess I just wish that there was a little bit more organization for smaller EDC items in this bag, especially if, what I'm assuming is happening is that like they would want you to use these mesh zippered pockets for internal organization. I do think this is a perfect pocket for like your electronics kind of thing. So I'm not sure what they expect you to do, but I would say that this is probably EDC'd and good to go. Maybe I can fit my phone inside here now. Yes, I can, a little bit. Kind of tight. That's a iPhone 15 Pro, so not the biggest ever, but not a small phone either. It's a pretty tight fit, so I think if you have a Pro Max, it's definitely not going to fit in that pocket. So this is our pack out of the Pro Active from Maverick Co. And then in terms of how the bag functions once it's completely loaded out like this, we have a little bit of lid flappage happening here, and that's just to be expected because we're now putting weight into this front flap compartment. I think that it does work pretty well though if you wanted to just half zip something and then get to the top contents of your bag. In this situation, just because it's loaded out so much, it's kind of nice to be able to access things from the bottom instead of the top. So right here I have access to my shoe pouch, and then I have my book that's right underneath that. Some other things to mention. We have a luggage pass-through here on the back of the bag. This is pretty tight, so I wouldn't be too shocked if this doesn't fit under some roller bags that have a little bit thicker of a trolley system. And we have no other handles besides this top handle here. Just because this bag is so tall, I wish I had another grab point on this bag to kind of hoist it into places, but I get that like that's not the aesthetic vibe of this bag. But there you go. It's all fully packed out and ready to go on our trip. We're at the transit center now, and I wanted to show you how the quick access pocket works on body. I think on body quick access is probably one of the #1 things that you want to look out for if you're looking for an EDC bag, since you're going to be in and out of the bag constantly. And this is a really great scenario where you might have to whip out your bus pass or whatever on the fly. Having to not have to take the bag off to get to that stuff quickly is a really cool thing. So let's check it out. Now it's time to score this bag against our rubric. Check out this video right over here if you want to hear more about our scoring system. For this one, we're going to be doing 25% on design, 40% on components, and 10% for unique value proposition and marketing. Starting out with the aesthetics, I think that this has a really understated black bag look going on that will work well in an office setting. It's a bit more casual and possibly more inviting looking bag than your traditional briefcase, and should blend well in a number of different situations. 4.5 out of 5. Functionally, this bag is not that deep, but it is a bit taller than the average for EDC bags. Because of this, we found it a little bit difficult to utilize the space on top of the bag. Thankfully, this bag opens up full clamshell mode and has an additional bottom access point. As for the back zippered pocket and the key leash point, we didn't find this to be a good placement or use of space, since it becomes completely inaccessible once you fill out this bag. I do also have to mention that although this bag is advertised to be able to hold 2 laptops, it's really not meant to hold 2 16-inch MacBook Pros. If you have slimmer or smaller laptops, you might not run into this issue, but I would say that a MacBook Pro is a pretty standard size and even smaller than some of the gaming PCs or chunky boys that you might be forced to use for your office work. 3 out of 5. But if we're talking about build quality in terms of material choice, I would say that I'm slightly underwhelmed. From afar, you can't really tell the difference, but the touch and feel of the fabric, especially the interior lining and the mesh that they're using here for these main compartments, had me wishing that they were a little bit more premium for this elevated price point. It's hard to describe other than to say it feels very basic and not worth $269, that's for sure. 3.5 out of 5. Protection-wise, the exterior fabric being used is pretty heavy, so you have inherent protection from that. But don't expect excellent water resistance or drop protection. This polyester will be good in light and moderate rain, but not in a heavy downpour. It's still not a structured bag, so it's not going to fare well in anything but a gentle bump here and there. We'll get into the laptop compartment protection in another section, but long story short, it didn't live up to the hype. 2.5 out of 5. For comfort, we found this bag to be pretty comfortable, especially given the lack of robust harness system that you'll find on bags made to carry larger loads. Since this bag isn't very deep, but instead tall, the weight feels a little bit more well distributed across your entire back. Instead of feeling like this bag is pulling you backwards, 4 out of 5. Access to each part of the bag is good, but it's not exceptional. Both your water bottle pockets and your front quick access pocket are going to be accessible on body, which is great. However, we felt like there wasn't enough internal organization for all of your little EDC objects. If you're a pouch person, you won't feel this problem as much, but you will still be limited with smaller lay flat type of pouches. You get 2 access points to the main compartment, one from the top as a clamshell opening and one from the bottom, and a sunglasses pocket behind the laptop compartment. In general, I had a great time using this bag for larger objects, but EDC was a struggle. 4.25 out of 5. Starting off our component section with these zippers, you get PU coated zippers for the main compartment and the laptop compartment. In practice, I didn't find too much friction when opening either of these, but if you want to whip it and rip it, it's not really made for that. They're not that smooth. You get a lay flat zipper on the sunglasses pocket here in the back, and a hidden reverse coil zipper here in the front quick access pocket. 4 out of 5. This harness is pretty basic. 2 padded shoulder straps with air mesh on the back. We have metal strap adjustments here and plastic strap keepers on the bottom. Personally, the clankiness of the metal buckles is a little bit too loud for me, and I hear it every time I set this bag down on a table. I would rather have plastic buckles, but that's just a me thing. You don't get any sternum strap or any other adjustments besides the harness length. I did find that when I was wearing this bag really high and tight, I was pretty much maxing out the shorter end of the strap length, so just keep that in mind if you have a similar body type to me. 4 out of 5. The back panel is also keeping that minimal design with light foam underneath the polyester fabric. There's a horizontal luggage pass-through in the middle. This will fit most trolley systems, but if you have a thicker handle, you might have a hard time passing it through this hole. I found that the laptop did a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to feeling like this back panel had any structure to it. Most of you, I would assume, would use this bag this way, so no issues there, but something to keep in mind. 3.75 out of 5. Looking at the main compartment, we have a clamshell style opening, which is a really great option for open access. We have 5 different compartments and zippered sections in the main compartment, 2 mesh zippered pockets on the flap, 2 stretch mesh pockets on either side of the walls, and a flat zippered pocket here on the back wall. I use these pockets to put my laptop peripherals and cables, and use the larger zip pocket for my over-ear headphones. I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to use this flat zippered pocket for besides holding sensitive flat items like a passport on the back. It's definitely not meant for easy access, since this back panel will more often than not be blocked by your other EDC items. The laptop compartment shares this back wall as well, and if you pack it out with even a laptop and a tablet, you're gonna find it bulging into this main compartment volume a bit and creates an uneven surface. We also get a removable shoe pouch and a bottom zippered access point. This is great for the versatility points, but I found that if you're using the shoe pouch, you're gonna be pretty limited in terms of what else you can fit inside realistically. If your office carry is pretty minimal, I think that you can get away with it, but it gets tight in here really quick if you have more than a few cords and a lunch. 3.75 out of 5. Quick access pocket wise, I do like that this front pocket is accessible on body, and I did like that the zipper orientation is assuming that you're a right-handed person using your right hand to unzip off of your left shoulder, which is more natural for me. If you have any experience with Evergoods' quick access pocket, it's the opposite, where they expect you to swing off of your right and grab items with your left hand. The only thing in this pocket is a key leash, which is nice in terms of placement, but I wish that there was a little bit more internal pocket organization for all of my little EDC items. The top sunglasses pocket is pretty tight and will be best used for flatter sunglasses. It also bulges into the laptop compartment quite a bit, which made taking my laptop out a little bit of a challenge. Maybe relocating this pocket to be in between the laptop and the main compartment would solve this issue, but keep that in mind. 3 out of 5. All right, and we made it to the laptop compartment. First off, this just straight up doesn't fit 2 laptops. There's not enough depth in this compartment or height in this compartment to accommodate 2 MacBook Pros, which I would say is a pretty standard size, if not on the smaller end of the spectrum from some laptops that you can find. If you're rocking 2 13-inch MacBook Airs or Pros, you might be able to squeeze it in. Only the laptop slip pocket has a softer microfiber lining, not the tablet pocket. There's a very slight false bottom here at the bottom, about this big, but the main compartment of the laptop compartment goes straight to the bottom. So if you're gonna try to carry the world's skinniest laptop to fit inside here, make sure that you pair it with a sleeve of some type to protect your laptop from the ground. Since this is one of the main selling features, at least for me, I was a little bit disappointed to find that this feature didn't live up to the hype. 2.75 out of 5. But on a nicer note, I love these water bottle pockets. They're super stretchy and elastic. They fit almost any kind of bottle that you throw in it. Just note that whatever you put inside of these pockets are sharing space with the main compartment, specifically the side wall stretch mesh. So if you want to do a triple bottle system, for example, you might have a hard time getting that to stay secure, but it's totally doable. As for the longevity of this material, well, only time will tell. It's sewn on in the top and it isn't a fold over design, so you're working with one piece of fabric. Since the main use case is office and possibly gym, I don't really see you taking this thing out easily unless you're throwing it against rocks or something. 5 out of 5. All right, we're on our way to lunch now. It's a new noodle restaurant in town that I wanted to try out. I've heard really good reviews, so let's check it out. All right, my food came out pretty quickly. I got the passion fruit iced tea, and then I have the dry noodle with the, I think this is the pork rib. Looks pretty good. Let's see how it tastes. These are hand-pulled noodles, and I kind of love noodles. They're my favorite type of food, so I'm really excited to try these out. They're very chewy. The sauce is good. Let's check out that meat. There's the pork. It's like a little bit of sweeter pork sauce, but it's good. Look at those noodles. Now that we're done eating our food, we can start talking about the marketing section of this bag. Maverick & Company gets a 3.25 for company. They are primarily an online retailer, which they state helps them to eliminate excessive markups to keep their bags at a more accessible price point compared to other luxury brands. For the product page, there are ample pictures in studio and lifestyle environments to get a feel of what the bag would look like in different situations. They've also included a size chart and customer reviews, which we love to see. It would be really nice to have some supporting video content like packouts or walkthroughs to get a better sense of the actual volume. 4 out of 5. Maverick & Co gives you a standard but still a little bit lacking 30-day return policy. They expect the bag in new condition with tags still attached. They offer a 1-year warranty which covers manufacturing defects. Seeing as both these policies are pretty restrictive, we scored them a 2.75 out of 5. Advertising wise, we didn't get our 2 laptops to fit into the bag, so I think that that's a pretty big miss on the advertising. 2.5 out of 5. Volume was slightly understated to its listed capacity of 22 liters, 3.75 out of 5. All right, so now we're gonna be heading over to our last spot of the day, which is the gym, so let's go. We have been walking all over the creation with this bag on for about a couple hours now, filming this content. I weighed this bag before we left, and it was almost 14 pounds. I will say that it's pretty comfortable. There is a ton of sweat on my back. It is actually kind of a hot day today, but as far as shoulder fatigue, which is normally what I get after I wear a bag for a really long time, not really feeling it that much because a lot of the pressure is right here in the front of my chest and not on the top, which is how you get a lot of shoulder pain. I think it also really helps that this bag is very long or very tall, so it kind of also helps with distributing the weight across my back, and it doesn't make me feel like I have a turtle shell where all of the weight is just kind of pulling me backwards. So all in all, pretty decent comfort. All right, so we're at the gym now. We're gonna do some reps and then we'll talk a little bit more about the gym specific features that we really like about this bag. So a couple of the gym specific features that this bag is bringing to the table. One of them is a detachable shoe pouch, so you'll be able to bring your tennis shoes or your gym shoes with you while you go to the office and then change once you get to the gym. There's also ample water bottle pockets and you can fit a ton of different sized water bottles. If you need to carry a water bottle, a shake mixer, and maybe a coffee tumbler, you can probably fit it in here just as long as your office setup isn't super robust. Now let's talk about the unique value proposition, starting out with the features. Overall features, this bag has a dedicated tech compartment and a detachable shoe pouch with bottom access. If you're looking for a bag that has all of these features, Sort of. It's kind of hard to find in an EDC bag with this very specific aesthetic. Again, if you carry two 16-inch laptops, then you're going to be disappointed, but you should be fine if your laptops are smaller in size or not as thick as a full-blown 16-inch MacBook Pro. With so many asterisks attached to some of the features, it's hard to justify more than a 2.5 in this category. Other than the two aforementioned features, this is a pretty basic bag, but you could argue that that in itself is the uniqueness that it's bringing to the table. 4 out of 5. Now, is this bag worth $269 or even $229 on sale? You're gonna have to be the judge of that. But for me, it's a little bit too much to pay for unrefined polyester liners and basic mesh. Is this gonna do the job just fine? Of course. But once we're in the over $150 mark for an EDC bag, this is where I think we start to become a little bit more picky about the quality and craftsmanship. 2.5 out of 5. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that's no different with the flavor side of things for this bag. For us, we're still a little bit salty about not being able to fit two 16-inch MacBook Pros, so 3.25 out of 5. After using this bag as an EDC item for a few months and putting it through its paces, we have some closing thoughts, including a final score of 71.92 against our rubric, which puts this bag in the C- range. Now let's get back to the studio for our full conclusion. A few standout categories included its minimal aesthetic for office carry, surprising level of comfort for its basic harness system, excellent water bottle pockets, and unique feature set. However, we couldn't give it high marks for its dedicated laptop compartment that doesn't have a false bottom inside of the main compartment of it, that also doesn't accommodate two full-size laptops that's advertised. A strange back panel zippered compartment placement, and overall not a great value buy even at $229 at a sale price. So who do I think this bag is for? If you're looking for an office gym hybrid bag, I think this might be a really good option for that, especially if you're looking for bags that you would feel confident going into a business meeting with. If you're flying on a short 1 to 3 day business trip, I think this bag would be a really good carry option for you as long as you have a pretty dialed in kit. It's slightly too tall to fit in some of those more restrictive personal item requirements, but you can always roll that die on whether or not they're gonna actually make you put it inside of the bag size or box. I think if you're not flying on a budget airline like Spirit or Frontier, you should more than likely be good to go, but always it's at your own risk. Finally, if you need a tech-focused bag to use at coffee shops and shared workspaces, and you dig the look of this bag, then I think that it could be an option worth considering. If your only criteria is a bag that holds tech though, there are a lot of other options on the market that might have better layout options or a friendlier price point. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. As always, if you'd like to help support the channel so that we can keep making reviews like this one, there are some affiliate links of the products that we talked about today. I get a small commission at no cost to you, but if that's not your vibe, there's always liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. It gives good vibes out to the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see this video. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever been on the hunt for a very specific bag like this to meet your office gym needs. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My name is Emerald from Emerald's Daily Carry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.